Sameh, Uriya, thank you very much for being on the Raw Politique today. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
You are part of the Dugri Project. So Uriya, you're a Israeli speaker and you formed with Sameh, who is also a known artist known as Saz, formed the Dugri Project that tries to build bridges between the Palestinian and Israeli community. And you released in 2021 the now famous Let's Talk Straight, being viewed more than 2 million times on YouTube. And for the BBC this year, after the 7th of October attack and all the aftermath that we know today, you said that your friendship wasn't damaged. Nowadays, what still brings you guys together?
Sameh and I got together based on Let's Talk Straight, the social project that I initiated. It was very organic. I came with pure intentions to learn and to create social project that will serve as a mirror to society, but based on my authentic approach and to life. Sameh and I became very close friends. It's not a Jew and an Arab necessarily, or an Israeli and a Palestinian. We just became close friends. We talked about life. We talked about everything, and we clicked. We're both good human beings. Despite everything happening to our nations and to our peoples, we're able to differentiate, corrupt leadership, decision makers, the way the world works, to the fact that we are two human beings, partners in a social initiative. I actually introduced him to the person that he's about to get married to.
Congratulations.
So, yeah. It's really, I'm only sharing all of this to show that despite everything that's going on, and obviously the differences in our approaches and the way we come from different communities, we're very close friends. We value each other and we stay in touch, and we're able to do that kind of differentiation and to see each other as human beings.
As this for differentiation in your talks and in your music, you often use the terms nuance and moderation. They seem to be really important words for you guys. Do you think that people can still hear the necessity and complexity of such words like nuance and moderation?
Actually, I just came back where I was. I was in a market in the old city of Ramle, where I was born and raised. And I'm just a woman with her husband just came to say hi to me, and they just told me about our project. They told me, you are so needed right now. Your sound, your voice is needed so much right now. And there are still people who would love to listen, or moderate people. Like most majority of Israelis and Palestinians, from my experience, are normal people, moderate ones, not moderate by the media, but moderate in a good way. And that means they just want to, live their lives. They want to have a decent job, maybe do a kid or two, self-fulfillment. And that's the majority of people. They don't really deal with politics. So for me, just now in a personal experience, I felt how much people, I even told her, can I give you a hug? And she was having this t-shirt, Mothers in Frontline in Hebrew. And they're now asking for ceasefire, returning the hostages, and just ending what's going on in Gaza. Just gave her a hug. For me, this is another testimony to people that would love to hear our voice, although it's really hard to speak modesty right now and just echoing this, mutual's voice. But no matter what, we're still gonna keep going on,
I want to follow up just shortly to say, Sameh comes from a family, very unique one, Palestinian communists. He was raised by a grandfather who told him since he was at a young age, if you're going to hold a weapon, you're not going to be my grandson. This is a very powerful educational manifest that he was raised by. And I grew up in a family where, a very strong Jewish Israeli tradition, the necessity to defend the people, to be in the IDF. That being said, do no harm. Always open your mind and be open to helping others and being liberal and open-minded. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we also come from this background, as two individuals. And while this is who we are, it doesn't necessarily represent our people. Right now, people are hating, and there's so much extremism dominating in the public discourse, and there's so much fear, so much hatred. So I'm not sure that Sameh and myself, we represent, the entirety of the opinions existing right now, but it's still who we are. And that's why we use authentic communications to talk about moderation and to talk about the complexity.
When you said that you were a representative of the Palestinian or Israeli communities, I'd say that you're rather unique in the sense that, as you said, for the BBC again, people nowadays are being manipulated by the media. How do you guys manage to maintain a critic view and critic opinion on the events?
Okay, so, this is a tough question, but for me, I've been into the research of how the world works for many years now. So when I started learning about how the media works, I realized, oh, wow, the media promotes stuff that creates engagement. The media competes with social media. The media competes with Instagram. And, all this energy. So the media needs to put out something that would get people's attention. And then I understood how much it's impossible to scream moderation. You know, like if you scream kill the Jews or death to Arabs, somebody will raise their camera. It's a good clickbait. But if you scream, my name is Uriya, I want to be a good person, I want to reach self-fulfillment, I want to provide for my family, nobody's going to make an article about it, even though that's the majority of us. So we are kind of trying to be that creative scream. And while we were busy facilitating this social project, we realized more and more, based on research, how much the media creates like a horse vision and a specific perspective about what's happening in real life. It shows you the people who celebrate terror and death to convince society that the other side is bad, while the majority of the people are hiding, scared at home. I guess that the point to go to is that we don't do the stuff that we do. We don't operate from a place of a desired outcome. If you would ask me, do you really believe that the viral video can change something in society? No, not necessarily. But I'm trying to be the Uriya I want to be. You know, I'm trying to communicate my authentic truth and to perhaps inspire others to do the same self-reflection and observation that I'm doing. The truth is that I don't trust the media. I don't trust the politics. I don't trust this is rap politic. You know, like Sameh and I try to avoid politics. Sameh would say our life is political, you know, like regardless if we want it or not, but we try to avoid politics. It doesn't matter which party, which leader, which liar, you know, like we don't trust the system. We're trying to build something from scratch, from the grassroots level.
You know, it's hard to maintain, like, you know, to be balanced. And that's a daily struggle that I struggle because I'm here. Where we are right now is in Boston. We just came for a visit. But, you know, since the war began, it's hard, man, to keep balanced, you know, because I have family in Gaza. I have family and friends here too, because we're kind of aware that you can see that they're trying to manipulate us, to trying to tell us this is right, this is wrong. We know there's our wrong stuff happening. And we know that the media is not really telling the truth. And every cooperated media or media as itself, as a business, it's a business for somebody. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it's an Arab, Israeli, American, European, whatever. And actually, we don't give a damn about, you know, what people's going to say because we just listen to our own voice. So we have our own compass. We don't need media to tell us what to think, what to do. And like Uriya said, we're not going to change nothing. Not a viral video. People are getting killed every day. But at least we're trying to keep balanced, you know, to understand that it's more complicated than the media is trying to show.
And as you just said, your music or your videos not going to change anything on the ground, like actually make changes in situation. But if you guys deeply believe this, what's the philosophy of the Dugri Project? What's the main objective? What's the goal?
Uriya just told you that we don't really act from desired outcome. You know, Dugri is a social venture that creatively is echoing a new moderate Israeli-Palestinian narrative. That's like, if you say, one of the goals that we have. And that's what we did for the last 2.5 years. Second goal is just to remind people that, you know, we don't preach. We don't have any solutions, but that we have is an approach. And that's the main thing, how you deal with stuff. So we don't really say, okay, listen to us because we know the right way and we know what is the solution for our situation. You know, we're still two young people who would love to live their lives and normal ones. That's like main two goals that I have on my mind right now. But of course, Uriya would love to add more.
I think that what's missing from what Sameh is saying in terms of the approach, you're asking like approach for what? What do you want to accomplish? What's the goal, like the end place you want to get to? And that's what we answer to. We don't operate from a place of a desired outcome. We don't like goals. Setting goals is, at least to my experience and understanding, it's part of the capitalistic glasses that through which we observe life. Like where are you trying to go? I don't know. Life is a mystery. God has his own plans. So in my life, I'm trying to operate from a place of who is the person I want to be. That's the goal. The goal is to be the best version of myself. Everyone thinks of changing the world. No one thinks of changing themselves. That's my goal, to change myself by observing reality, being critical and developing my own understanding, you know, like ideologies and theories about life. So I guess that the goal is peace, maximum well-being for maximum beings. But I don't know if I can reach the goal of peace. What I'm trying to be focused on is solidifying and communicating in an authentic way some truth that I discovered. What is this truth? Millions of Jews and Arabs Palestinians and Israelis are not going to go anywhere. Killing is bad. And how do we get to a future where there is maximum well-being for maximum beings? It's a vision, you know, like I don't think I'm going to see it in my lifetime. But that's where we're trying to go. That's the thing we're trying to promote together.
As we're talking about the future, for the BBC, Uriya, you said that, of course, you were deeply worried about the future. And what future do you both wish for and imagine for Israel and Palestine?
I said I was worried for the future because I see my people, I see my family, I see my friends, people that are moderate, that are loving, that are open-minded. I see them traumatized, you know, like the thing we experienced here, the thing that the Palestinians, people in Gaza are experiencing now as a result of extremists, as a result of terrorism, as a result of corrupt leadership, as a result of the justification of killing, as a result of the corruption in the weapon industry, the pharmaceutical industry. What I see now is that people are fucked up. You see the hollow look in the eyes. You see how much people are motivated for vengeance, how much war and conflict is justified given everything that is happening. I'm now studying education in the United States because I want to build a school. I really want to build a village, like a community-based independent school, where there's a school in the center of the village. People are around it. We invest in agriculture. We invest in infrastructure that is local, that is sustainable, that people know each other and meditate together and play music together and talk to each other on a daily basis. And I really hope that this village would be a mixed village of Jews and Arabs, Palestinians and Israelis.
This conscience of, we need to wake up, take our life back. And the future is right now is blurred. You can't know what's going to happen. We're still optimistic inside of us, but we're realistic too. So we hope that we're going to go through and we shall overcome this situation and in the times that we're going through. You just pray for better days, man.
You talked about the new generation, the next generation. Do you rely on young people? Do you think that young people are not going to make the same mistakes as their fathers, mothers? Do you think the new generation is a bit more moderate, as we said at the start of our conversation?
I can't really be sure what they're going to think or what they're going to do, because we are this generation that they told us 20, 30 years ago, in your lifetime, changes will come. But you can see that it's bad changes, and not for the good ones. Not just in Israel, Palestine. I think it's worldwide. We're just now focusing on our conflict, our region, on what we're going through right now. Don't really have the exact answer to tell you, the next generation will do better than us. First question I'm asking myself, there will be any another generation? And two, we pray that the next generation will not live war times like we lived. I pray for or Arab or Israeli Nelson Mandela just to come from the people and then bring us a different vibe, a different approach, a different subconscious about what's going on, because the future is unknown right now.
The only thing I want to add, given social media, given the fact that this generation experienced less world wars and, much more unmediated communications, through all the platforms that grew up on technology, I feel like we are a bit more knowledgeable. The contrast to that is that while we have access to more knowledge, we also have access to much more lies and bullshit. And people right now around the world don't really know what the truth is anymore. There's so much a war on perspectives, a war on narratives, so much lies. That creates a situation where there is no more trust. People don't trust each other because we perceive reality so differently, So my hope is that the next generation is going to develop a very sharp lie detector, and that our generations, the younger ones, are going to push forward reality and humanity to a place of authenticity. And I really hope that, given the way we grew up and all the platforms around us, we will build a structure for society where honest, authentic, transparent, responsible people are taking the reins, and not the bullshitters, PR experts, lying manipulators that controlled our lives for the past centuries, I would say.
Sameh, Uriya, thank you very much for recording us this interview today. Thank you very much for raising your voices. They are very much needed nowadays, and let's hope for nuance and moderation. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
For investing these topics. It's really amazing to see.